exhorting one another. My goal today is to exhort us to keep on keeping on and have a tenacious perseverance that even when things get hard, I am never going to take my eyes off of Jesus. He is the author and finisher of my faith. He's redeemed my life because I just happen to believe the safest place to be is in the will of God, standing on the Word of God, because God is faithful. Have a tenacious perseverance that says, you know what? I don't necessarily understand today, but I recognize the end, and the end is I cannot be defeated because I've been redeemed by the shed blood of Jesus Christ. And we as a people of God hanging on to the promise and say, God, I happen to believe that no matter what, you're faithful. You're the one who caused the fourth man to end up in the fire. You're the one who pushed down the walls of Jericho. You're the one who opened the way in the Red Sea. Can I know that He's the one who can make a way where there seems to be no way? I believe that we need a tenacious perseverance and keep our eyes on Jesus. And I happen to believe as well that we need to continue just to say, God, you're faithful. You're faithful. Your mercy is new every morning, and great is your faithfulness. And the Hebrew writer says it this way in Hebrews chapter 12, verse 1. Therefore, since we're surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders us, and the sin that so easily entangles us, and let us run with perseverance. How many know that we are running a race? We're running a race. My granddaughter told me the other day, she's a distance runner, and she said, Papa, I made it 6 miles in 58 minutes the other day. It's a new personal best. I'm thinking, whew, 6 miles. I might be able to run 6 feet. You know what I'm saying? But, the runner, if you notice, most of the time, a runner doesn't have leg weights on, not when they're doing the marathon. They may practice that way. Why? They're wanting to run. In fact, they probably have fairly light shoes on. You don't see runners in a marathon with big army boots. You might be in the military because they expect you to do that stuff, but most people in a marathon, they want to be light. And so the Hebrew writer says, we need to run. We need to run the race with perseverance. I'm going to be determined to be steadfast, because so much of life has to do with perseverance. Marriage requires commitment and perseverance. Your spiritual life requires commitment and perseverance. Your financial life requires perseverance and commitment. Can I get an amen? Your health requires perseverance and commitment. All of our relationships require those kinds of things. He tells us that we need to run with perseverance. Can I just tell you that in this room today, I've been a pastor here for a little while, and I know that there are people in this room that at one time, because of the circumstances that they were dealing with, man, I think it might be over. But they held on to the promise of God. They continued to move forward. They said, I refuse to give up. And because of their tenacious perseverance, God has brought them through. Can I get an amen if that's one of you? I believe that God is faithful. In order to do that, I think we need to have the right focus. Because the Bible tells us in Hebrews chapter 12, he says, looking unto Jesus. The right focus is very important. It's, for all, anyway, it's a word. I had it memorized too, but I can't remember it now. But the Hebrew word means to turn the eyes away from one thing and fix them on something else. I mean, have you ever looked at a circumstance and said, you know what, I don't think I'm ever going to get through this mountain of debt. I'm not sure I'm ever going to be able to find a different job. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to make this work, but I'm not going to look at that. I'm going to keep my eyes on Jesus, because what you focus on will affect your perseverance. Years and years ago, when our kids were really small, we went up to the UP, to the Porcupine Mountains, and so we went on a hike in the Porcupine Mountains and ended up kind of turned around. We weren't lost. A man never gets lost. Come on, you guys, come on. Absolutely. And we're walking along and we're making our way back to the campground, and the kids are like, oh, they're whining, oh, and and we're thinking, we've got to make it so, oh, any parents know what I'm talking about? They were just toasted until we got back to the campground. When we got back to the campground, they saw the playground. All of a sudden, their perspective changed because of what they were focused on. They went from, all of a sudden they had all kinds of energy. You know what I'm talking about. Just trying to get you to recognize that what we focus on, it changes our perspective, and when we keep our eyes on Jesus, in fact, that's what the Hebrew already told us. We're to keep our eyes fixed on Jesus. He's the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him, he endured the cross, despising the shame, and he's set down to the right hand of the throne of God. He said, consider him who endured such contradiction of sinners against you, lest you become weary and faint. Keep your eyes on Jesus. Because keeping your eyes on Jesus will help change your focus. And changing your focus will change your perspective. And changing your perspective can cause you to have the perseverance you need to keep on keeping on. Start and make sure you're cultivating and developing your relationship with Jesus. The Hebrew writer says that we're supposed to lay aside every weight, and sometimes the people around us, we've talked about that just a number of times, it can just be people that are just negative, and it can be ugly. Get with people who restore your faith, and it's my prayer today that you took an opportunity. I don't know what's been happening, because can I just tell you, even when it's awesome, you still need to be going, God, you're awesome. You're so good, Holy Spirit. You're well, He is alive. He is alive. And I breathe. The empty grave is singing. And I want to be a part of that choir. Because he rose from the dead. The Spirit of God is on the inside of me. And my eyes are on Jesus. And he's the energizer of my life. Because it's that tenacity, it's that perseverance that I'm going to need to see the promise of God in my life. In fact, I just had a conversation with somebody just as before the service got started. They were talking about just an individual who's dealing with some physical issues in their life. All of a sudden, it's an element of the way they've seen a turnaround in their physical life, because of the circumstances around them have changed, which then changed their perspective. As well as I do. You have something happen, what do? They send you to therapy, right? Today's a therapy session. Sometimes in therapy sessions, you know what I'm talking about? Like, hey, how's that feel? Is that all right? All right? Ah! Come on. So maybe today you're like, that's all right. Because we need the therapy to keep our perspective so that we can get to the other side. I want to have renewed movement in my knee. In order to have renewed movement in my knee, I need to make sure that I do something with my knee. I need to have some kind of resistance exercises to make sure that I can maybe hold on to what minimal muscle mass I currently have. Because there's a huge correlation between muscle loss in elderly life and sickness and disease. And if I want to stay healthy, I'm just going to eat chips and watch TV on the couch. Because He's Jehovah Rapha. He's my healer. Anyway, you guys, you'll figure that out. And it's my prayer today that there's an element whereby you're inspired. In fact, the Bible tells us in the book of Hebrews chapter 12, verse 3 says, looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before Him endured the cross. The right focus will give us the right perspective. And the right perspective will fuel our perseverance. Throw off the junk. Man, if somebody's, I can just tell you, I know that, it can be some kind of an element because, the endorphin kind of thing. But, if you go to Facebook, and when you're done with Facebook, you feel worse than when you went on, delete the app.
Amen. Amen.
Could I get an amen?
Yeah.
Let's face it, you need to, focus on and get things around you that are going to encourage your faith. Get the right focus, because we need to have a tenacious perseverance to see the promises of God take place. And we need to develop perspective. And Jesus had an eternal perspective, because I think we need to develop an eternal perspective. Because what does the Hebrew writer tell us? He says, who for the joy that was set before Him. In other words, Jesus wasn't focused on the suffering that He was about to endure. Jesus was focused on what was going to happen as a result of that suffering, which was our redemption. Yeah. So I can't focus on the fact that I've got to eat ramen noodles and beans while I'm recovering from my financial mistakes. I need to focus on the fact that if I eat rice and beans, I will get my financial life together and I can be free at last, free at last. I need to make sure I've got to focus on the right stuff, because that's what's going to cause me to have the perseverance, the perspective to keep on keeping on. Hebrew writer tells us for the joy that was set before Him. We need to develop that whole eternal perspective, because I just tell you, one of these days I had a couple conversations with people this past week, and I just happen to believe that, Paul thought we were in the end times, and so if Paul thought we were in the end times, we're even more so in the end times. It's very possible that Jesus could return. Amen. Come on! Amen. Jesus could return, and I want to be ready when He does. And I want to, because when I stand before Him, my 401k won't mean beans. What's going to matter is we hear the words, well done, good and faithful servant. Not that there's anything wrong with those things, but we need to make sure that we keep an eternal perspective. Are you right with God and your family? Your finances in order? What's happening in your life? Because through faith and patience, we inherit the promises. I want to invite the worship team to come up, and I want us to, in a moment, to respond, because I happen to believe that we as people need to make sure that we don't lose heart. God, I don't want to lose heart. I talked to somebody a while ago. They were talking about the whole element of the relationship, and they were getting a little older. I'm like, just keep hanging on. Keep standing on the promise. Keep your eyes focused on Jesus. Because Jesus doesn't want us to lose heart. He wants us to keep our eyes on Him. Because it will cultivate and develop a perseverance in our hearts, so we will not lose heart. Stick with the Bible. Stick with God. Run the race with perseverance. Make sure you have the right focus. Focus your heart and life on Jesus and develop an eternal perspective. I just need to ask you this morning, do you need to focus on Jesus right now? Is there something in your life that is distracting you and diverting your attention away from eternal things? Are you losing heart? You go, man, I don't know, because the enemy's whispering in my ear, just quit, just give up. Are you going through hard times? Do you need Jesus' perspective in your life? If you do, today is your day. Because we can make the decision, God, I refuse to quit. I am going to put off those things. I'm going to put my eyes on Jesus, and I am not going to quit. And I believe, God, you can give me a tenacious perseverance so I can see the promises come to pass in my life. Let's pray together.